Hey guys, so I just got another letter from the Office of the Chief Judge today. This arrived in the mail today from Karen Leung. It was in response to the letter that I sent her on the 26th of September. I'll read you that letter now, okay, just to remind you guys. Dear Ms. Leung, legal officer of the Office of the Chief Judge, thank you for confirming that both you and Judge Warrior have received my correspondence. You know what, I'm not going to read the whole thing. Just some highlights. Basically, I will not be submitting to the court. I am a victim of false police reporting and failure of the police to fully investigate. I was detained and arrested and held against my will. I am now a victim of malicious prosecution and have no intention of further cooperating with any court or process having no jurisdiction over me. It is now in the public interest that my being victimized for using my right to free speech and the freedom of the press come to its end. It is alleged that I make Jehovah's Witnesses fear harm. However, I do not make Jehovah's Witnesses fear harm from my behavior. That is a false attribution theory. And I am not responsible in fact or in law for the irrational thoughts of people indoctrinated in a false world belief theory. I am not part of quote-unquote Satan's organization, and I am not quote-unquote Satan as they repeatedly claim. In the interest of justice and not further wasting the court's time and money, please process this letter as a complaint of a miscarriage of justice. Now, I've read this letter already from Karen Leung. Dear Mr. Lefebvre, receipt is acknowledged in the Office of the Chief Judge of the Provincial Court of British Columbia of your September 26, 2018 correspondence. The purpose of your correspondence is unclear. You see this game they're playing? I don't understand. See? We don't understand even what you're even talking about. By way of background, letter continuing now. By way of background, the Chief Judge of the Provincial Court of British Columbia has authority under the Provincial Court Act to examine complaints about the conduct of judges of the court which may raise an issue as to their fitness for judicial office. The Chief Judge, however, has no authority to process your letter as a complaint of a miscarriage of justice as you have requested. The Chief Judge has no authority to process your letter as a complaint of a miscarriage of justice as you have requested. The Chief Judge has no authority to process your letter as a complaint of a miscarriage of justice as you have requested. Your recent correspondence does not appear to raise a matter that would alter any of the conclusions set out in my September 17th, 2018 letter, nor does it appear to raise a matter within the Chief Judge's authority under the Provincial Court Act. So the Office of the Chief Judge of the Provincial Court of British Columbia does not have the authority to process a letter you submit as a complaint. Good to know. Good to know. Are you guys with me? Are you hearing what I'm saying right now? In summary, we remain unable to assist you. As this office is not a court registry, I am taking the liberty of returning your correspondence to you. Further correspondence received from you will not be subject to response from this office unless it raises a matter within the Chief Judge's authority under the Provincial Court Act. Say that? So I wonder if I were to review the Provincial Court Act, I would see confirmation that indeed the Chief Judge, quote unquote, has no authority to process a letter as a complaint of a miscarriage of justice. So you just saw from the letter that the Office of the Chief Judge does not have the authority to process or respond to complaints. I forget what the letter said. I forget if it said process or respond. But basically, the Office of the Chief Judge does not have the authority to respond to complaints that you or I or any other British Columbian might make about a miscarriage of justice, wrongful arrest, wrongful detainment, coerced consent, and really an extending of those conditions of release for an additional 90 days. It doesn't matter if you're innocent. It doesn't matter if you are the victim of malicious prosecution. You have to complain about it and talk about it the right way in order for anyone with the authority to do something about it will listen to you. Yeah. So when you film in public, when you talk to your YouTube viewers about what you're filming in public, and the cult members don't like that, and they call the police 10, 20, 30 times, and then the police are tired of responding to those calls, they say that you're causing fear of injury, and you need to go to court. And before you go to court, you need to be detained for 14 hours first. You need to be moved from cell to cell. You need to meet with a social worker, and you need to meet with a desk duty lawyer who tells you to shush. And then you need to go before that judge. And you need to not be given the chance to speak for yourself. And then you need to either consent to conditions of release or go back to your cell for the weekend. And I think I figured something else out, viewers, about what happened to me. You'll notice that they came to arrest me and detain me on a Thursday evening. Okay?
Yeah,
So they came to arrest and detain me and bring me before the judge on a Thursday evening. So if I had not consented to the conditions of release, on that Friday morning, I no doubt would have been taken back to my cell and told that, well, you can, maybe you'll be willing to consent to the conditions of release on Monday. So I think that's something else I figured out, viewers. If I had not consented, which is definitely something that I should have done, refused to consent to those conditions, said what I said in the courtroom on the 17th and 18th of September, on the 17th of August, about what was happening to me. If I had said all of that in the courtroom like I should have on the 17th of August and not consented to those conditions of release, I would have been sent straight back to my holding cell and not brought before the judge again until the Monday morning. So this is the second time I've been out at about 5 o'clock, viewers. I think the last time it was on a Wednesday. And you noticed that there were no cult members set up in front of City Center SkyTrain, and there were no cult members set up in front of Best Buy over there. Yeah, or Robson Promenade. But as usual, I'm sure, they are going to be set up in front of Granville SkyTrain down here. So let's go see if we can see them. Let's see if we can see them from the intersection over here right now, viewers. Yeah, I can see them. It is rush hour. There's a lot of traffic right now, viewers. So forgive the excess noise. But as you can see, yeah, the cult members are set up right over there in front of the Granville SkyTrain. So I wonder why they're only setting up, at least the last 2 times I've been down here, why they're only setting up in front of Granville SkyTrain and not Robson Promenade, City Center SkyTrain, or Best Buy, where they will typically set up. Well, that's good to know, viewers. Yeah, it's good to know. Well, since there are no cult members setting up in front of City Center SkyTrain today, I'm going to set up right now and see if I can draw somebody to God's kingdom.
That's all
all waking up in miseries. They got no proof. All these religions are God the devil's confused family, and they all populate God the devil's populators, just like the rest of that. They all populated it. And you know what? The shit crack your body is false. The body is not a real body. And that's why it gets old.
Have you ever wondered how you can pray and be heard by God?
God
Actually
is
heard
damned
by
forever.
God?
God lost the war. God lost the war. He
Have you
got
ever-
damned. That's why they killed the real mighty judge's body by the signs and wonders and miracles. Prove it was the impossible real mighty in a body.
Have you ever wondered if God has a name?
God is damned forever. God lost the war. God is the devil. These guys are fighting asshole fool day arguments. They got no proof. They got no proof, just like those guys had, because holy again Moses made no friends with those goddamn populators. He
Have you
didn't
ever-
populate God the devil's asshole.
Have you ever wondered why God allows suffering, sir?
God is damned forever. There's no truth in God. Mankind is just so goddamn.
Now, if I was a cult member, viewers, I would consider that having been the reason that I got up today, put on my tie, got my magazines ready, and went out and spoke to people. Okay, you saw that guy. Speaking of not well. Okay, I did that to illustrate a point, viewers. Okay, if I had been an active cult member, I would have considered that something to pat myself on the back over later while I was sitting in a meeting. See that right there, viewers? That right there is a cult member. Okay? Who just grabbed my picture from around the corner while I was standing there. No, I've had no direct contact. I've had no indirect contact with him. He was not standing in front of a literature cart, but he did take my picture and is now running away. So, if any of you out there are still doubting how sneaky and pathetic Jehovah's Witnesses can be, you're seeing it firsthand right now.